Hello, oui. Et comment allez-vous tous? Look what arrived. Uh-oh. Boom, 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 boom. It's the Rooftops of Paris calendar. Check that out. Isn't that nice? Look at the size. I got a matte finish one, is what I ordered. It's the back featuring all of the pages. And let's just take a quick look at the inside here. So here's January. It's got a little caption, 12 Place de Grenier, 2023. Oh, it's getting a little blown out by the light here, but you can see I've got the days handily noted in both languages, both French, Français, et Anglais, English. And what I did was I designed this to maximize the note-taking, the penciling in area of the pages. And I minimized the holidays, of course. Martin gets a day. And so if you'd like to get one of these, let's look at you're welcome to. You can check out, go to my website, paulbenulo.com, and there on the front page you'll be redirected to my Etsy shop where you can get this print on demand. Here's February. What I did when I was making this is I made a call out to everyone on my socials and asking them to choose an image, a rooftop painting, les toits de Paris, quoi, for their birthday month. And so I did, and some people were able to snag their own month, like my sister here did for March. And what I did, this is kind of a secret, so don't tell anyone. What I did to thank them was that I included their name on the calendar and the birth date. Let's see if we can see it here. You see that? Wait, okay. For example, so, top secret. And this is a custom calendar that, I created this is called the date grid, month grid. And so, because I'm old school, and my fingers, you see, are too chubby to type on a phone properly, to enter in important appointments, rendezvous, and the like, I like to write things down on a calendar. And so that's why I made this with so much space here for you to write in your important engagements, and appointment engagements, and birthdays, loved ones' birthdays. I don't know, you could even fit a shopping list on there, I suppose. And juin, as I like to say. And so this one is good because these original paintings are 10 by 10 centimeters, and this image is like 25 by 25 centimeters. So it's a bit surrealistic about how large the type is displayed here when it's actually, enlarged, basically. And this is something I wanted to do. What I really would like to do is blow this up to a meter square, to really get a surreal sort of effect. I think I might do that. I think I can swing that now. Or if anyone wants one, let's work it out. And so I'm pleased with how that came out. And the printing is, I was a little bit nervous. I didn't want to put them on sale. I didn't want to publicize it too much until I actually got one to make sure that it was proper and worthwhile. I'm glad to say that I am pleased with the result. So these are now available if you'd like to. But this one, it took about 2 weeks to get here, over all the way in Europe. And frankly, it's a bit expensive to send them to Europe because they're printed this one was printed in Rhode Island. And people on the West Coast, they get theirs from Arizona, if I remember correctly. And But with the, as you know, with the holiday crunch, I think you better order quickly so that it arrives in time for the new year and the holiday season. So, so get your orders in ASAP if you'd like to. Here's another one of those smaller ones. I really liked how it turned out. So when I was designing this, as I told you, I designed the grid here. I got in touch with a couple of buddies of mine from the old graphic design school days at the University of Washington, the visual communication program, and asked them their advice. What I did was I designed the first 3 pages, and I was tweaking it as I was going along to see what was working, what wasn't working, and adjusted it as the months went on. So I sent them the first 3 months. And my friend Garrett, that's December. And then here's the back. And a little thank you to everyone who helped choose the images and voting on the cover. I had 2 options for the cover. And this one, actually, it was a straight tie. So I was the tiebreaker. So I got my name in the calendar too. Maybe next year you can try to claim your month and get your name in the calendar as well. That would be fun, wouldn't it? And so I sent this off to, while I was still designing it, I sent it to my buddies from design school, and Garrett came back and said, "Very nice, P. I'm digging the layout, and I see the refinement in March." So every month I refined it a little bit further, the layout of the pages of the month grid, and the use of Heffler, that's the typeface, seems perfect with the imagery. Very nice way to promote your awesome work. I miss the days of pinning up our work and to discuss and pontificate. So what he's referring to there is when we were in design school, when a project was due, what we would do, we would have different milestone points along the way, and we would tack our work up on the wall, and then we'd all take turns discussing its merits and detractions. And so that's what he means there. And at the same time, I sent it to Hove. And Garrett is nowadays, he's designing websites. If I understand correctly, he's implementation, design, and maintenance, if I understand. And then Hove, who just moved to Montana from Ballard in Washington State, in Seattle. He is doing identity design, like logos and so forth, logo refinements, logo creation, a lot of marketing, a lot of branding. And he, when I sent him the first drafts as I was working on it, he said, "Looks great. Love the tiny month prior and next to the month and the next month edition." And he's talking about these here. If you see these wall calendars, they've often got the previous month and the following month. So he was appreciative of that. The only thing I noticed that maybe give a bit more leading to the names under the numbers. Let's see if we have one in here in February. Oh yeah, we got Phil. So what happened is that this was really tight in between there. This was about, half the distance of where it is now next to the number. And he said, "I noticed that maybe give a bit more leading," that's a technical term, that means line spacing, to the names under the day numbers, as Obzubko would say. Christopher Obzubko, one of our professors. Yeah, it was, in design school, it was sort of like, you know how people who are in the Marines or in the Army or a team or something like that, you share this intense experience. And sometimes we would be there just pulling all-nighters. The whole class would be in the art building in the middle of the night, working away, and bleary-eyed and goofy, and loopy. And the security guard would come by, and he liked one of the students, and he was always hitting on her, and that was fun. The tightness makes me a little nervous. Can't wait to see the rest. As Obzubko would say, the tightness makes me a little nervous. Can't wait to see the rest. FYI. Oh, and then I sent him some. So what I did was when you work on something on the screen, you don't really know what the scale is. And so what I did was instead of printing out the entire thing, because I only have A4 pages on my printer, which is analogous to a letter size sheet of paper. So I just printed out a little corner to see how big the type looked in real life. And so that's what he's referring to. He says, FYI, I can't view the PDFs. There are cut off sections only of the piece. Not sure what's going on there. So instead of making the entire page printable, I didn't need to, because all I needed to do was like see perhaps this section and then lay it down and see if it looks right in real life. And then when I finished everything, I wrote to another friend of mine, Chris Holte and Hovey, or Hove and Holte, or Hovey and Holt. And also, and Chris and I go way back. Oh yeah, Sandpoint Country Club, way back. And he gave a review because he was busy. He has a sweet job with, I believe it's Hewlett-Packard. Forgive me if I'm wrong. And but he's mostly just painting all the time. You should look him up. His website is, I think it might be Christopher Holt Studios. You can look it up. I'm sure it'll come up. And so his final review was, well, I love it. Honest, thoughtful. I don't know if he's referring to himself or to the piece, to the calendar, the wall calendar now available. The way you share in a real way. I like the page very much, and the calendar is beautiful, as I mentioned before, because I like the juxtaposition of different kinds of aesthetics, the architecture of the rooftops, the lines, the planes, the tones, negative and positive shapes bouncing off of each other, and then the natural elements, the flowers and the tops of trees. I love them because they invite me to contemplate my own views of my own space and those present in front of me in the images. Here's one with the flowers. Chris is big into flowers. He does really great, sort of Maxfield Parrish, like, oh, Olivia, comment ça va toi? Ça c'est le calendrier que j'ai créé pour l'année prochaine, qui est actuellement disponible sur mon site web et aussi Etsy. Je ne suis pas sûr si Etsy c'est un truc en France. And love it, Paul. So, Chris, as you can tell, his review was more sentimental, more of a painterly view on things. So anyway, I think that's everything that I wanted to. Oh, the one last thing is that Chris is making his own calendar, so you're going to have to be on the lookout for that. And he was asking me for advice about how I'm doing that. He's following my method of having it print on demand with a service called Printify, and then marketing it on the marketplace called Etsy. And so he was at the point when everything was all designed, and he said, so what do? I do just upload the Adobe Illustrator files? And so I said, no, this and that and the other thing. And I'm going to do a video on that because I came across a few things. I'm learning as I go. And there's a lot to share, so be on the lookout for that if you're interested in getting into print on demand. Okay, so I think that's all for now. Going a little bit long, 14 minutes, but thanks for checking that out. Go to my website, paulbagnulo.com or paulbagnulo.com, and it'll be right there. It'll be on the front page. Otherwise, depending if you're looking at this on the Tube of Views, it'll be in the description below, and on the ends of linked, I can put a link to my website, and on the gram of Instas, it'll be in the profile, link in profile, and on the Book of Faces, how can we do it? Well, just ask me in the comments. All right, bisous, ciao for now.